And then just to finish off, let's just look at some of those other renewable sources. So we can look at things like wind energy, hydroelectric power, geothermal energy. These are all good renewable energy sources. So wind energy, we've had a lot of growth in those. So if you've ever driven down the 8 like into El Centro, you'll see these big wind farms along the side. Or if you've driven, where did I see? If you drive, like if you're driving out into Palm Springs, you'll pass through areas that have these big wind farms with these wind turbines. And so what happens is you've got the wind turns the blades, and so those blades, as they turn, they generate electricity, and then that electricity goes to the grid, and you can power things from the wind energy. Again, has to be done in places though where there's sufficient wind in order to turn these things and generate enough electricity. So they're not going to be something that we can use everywhere, which is why you'll see pockets of areas where you'll see these large wind farms because they're in areas that are super windy. So we put up a lot of these. And so rotates, goes to the transformer, from the transformer goes to the substation, and then we get to the grid. So that's the other thing, is that any type of power, any type of electricity we generate, we have to go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. And because some of that energy gets converted into heat energy, we don't get 100% efficiency back from that. So 100% of the energy generated from the wind turbine isn't what actually reaches the grid. And so that's another area that we have to keep working, is how can we increase this efficiency so that more of the power that we generate is actually usable. Okay. And then just a couple other sources, hydroelectric energy. So you've got a hydroelectric plant that allows water to come through, and the water rushing through again turns a turbine. You can see, a theme with a lot of these here. And then from that turbine, then it goes through its different things to get to the power line grid. And then same thing with geothermal. We get a geothermal area where we get heat, and so we're able to use that in order to then turn a turbine and then send that power off to the grid. So these are things that we can explore. The nice thing about a power plant is we can build it anywhere. Even nuclear power plants, we can still build them in a lot of places, because there's a lot of areas where, there's a good, area around from where there's densely populated areas. But things like solar power or wind energy, hydroelectric, geothermal, we really do have to be specific places where that type of energy is useful to do. Thankfully in San Diego, we're seeing a lot more solar panels. I think, over at, I also teach at Grossmont College, and over at Grossmont, one of our parking lots has got solar panels above it. So the students park under the solar panels, and then we've got the solar grid. So that's helping power over there. Like I said, we've got solar panels. My parents have solar panels on their house. I'd love to see apartment building owners put solar panels on top of their apartment buildings to help power all of their units there. But, that's a whole different ball game, and that I have no ability to really do anything with, because I do not own an apartment building, nor do I ever want to own an apartment building. So as we explore some of these other renewable energy sources and non-polluting energy sources, we have to figure out okay, where can we build these? Where are we going to get the greatest efficiency from it? And then how's our technology so that we're getting the most out of those that we possibly can? And because there's a lot of things that have to be done with all of that, we still rely way too heavily on those fossil fuels. So things to work on in the future.